Fox News is now streaming live on Fox One. The voices you trust, the stories you won't find anywhere else.
This is the story breaking right now.
Fox One, we live for live.
Try it free for 7 days. Offers are subject to change. Go to Fox One for complete terms and conditions.
Welcome to the Trip Tales podcast with me, Kelsey Graves. Let's jump into a new episode exploring a vacation destination that you'll want all the details about. Hey everyone, welcome back to Trip Tales, the podcast where real people share their real trip stories to give you destination inspiration and practical planning tips. A quick reminder, if you want to share one of your trips on the podcast, all you have to do is email me at triptalespodcast@gmail.com and we'll get you added to the schedule. It doesn't have to be a big, huge trip. It can be a fun family weekend that you'd like to share about. So anything is game. Feel free to email me anytime and we will get you on the schedule. Today, I am joined by Tracy, who just returned from a family adventure through Ireland in June 2025. So welcome, Tracy. Thank you so much for being here.
Thank you for having me, Kelsey.
I start every episode with a rapid fire get to know you. So tell everyone where you live, what you do, and about your family.
I live in Minneapolis, Minnesota, originally from Tucson, Arizona. And I live with my husband and my two daughters, age 9 and 7. And I'm a travel agent. And I also just recently started work as a virtual assistant. And that's kind of sort of a entrepreneurs, business owners need extra help, but don't need a full-time employee. And I kind of am a figure outer, do whatever is needed person. My husband is an entrepreneur and owns several businesses in Nashville.
So fun.
The parent company is called Nashville Tour Co. And they're Nashville's #1 hospitality management group with a diverse collection of experiential activities catering to locals, tourists, and corporate groups. Our first business there was the Nashville Pedal Tavern.
Oh my gosh, seriously?
We opened that in 2010.
So those are the pedal taverns where everybody gets on the little bike thing and you have like a little bar in the middle and you go around downtown?
Yes.
I see them all the time. I was literally just on a date night with my husband downtown and I was like, oh, look at all the pedal taverns. I was like, should we do it?
You should. You should. We also, so that was kind of our first start. We actually, so it's sort of grown from there. We actually have a company called Nashville Toons, and we have boats that you can rent to go out, and it includes custom designed pontoons, and you get a driver and a concierge on the boat ride. So
the Nashville Toons is like pontoon.
Yes,
got
exactly.
it. So a boat tour, and you can see like the city skyline and all that kind of stuff.
Well, it's out on the lake.
Oh, it's on one of the lakes. Okay, yeah,
Mm-hmm.
I've probably rented one. We've rented pontoons before on there's so many good lakes around here.
Yeah. And then the more recent one, the company's called Beve Curated. And it started out as a company providing like luxury bus tours around different shopping areas of the city, and kind of has expanded to more, not just shopping, but anything that you want to do. So let's say you have a group that wants to just have a nice luxury tour of the city that's from out of town and they don't want to drive around or take lifts everywhere. And we kind of customize the inside of it. And that's kind of something that we're doing now.
That's cool. Wait, what's that one called? What was that one called?
Beve Curated.
How do you spell the first word?
Beve.
Beve. Okay, cool. So like if you had a group, like a girls' trip, let's say a 40th birthday, and you wanted to hit up some shopping, hit up your lunch spot, but you don't want to be driving all these places, you can customize the trip for them.
Exactly. Yep.
Okay,
so
cool.
I've done that. We did that. And then also we recently, with another group, it was couples. So we all went around together. We did some whiskey tasting. We went to see some sights, and then the guys went to go do the mini golf at Putt-Shack.
Yeah, that's so fun. Putt-Shack.
And they got dropped off, and then we went shopping, and then we all met up at Putt-Shack after. So you can kind of cater it to whatever you want.
So
and
fun.
then even some people use it for weddings too.
Yeah, of course.
Transportation. And then we also have a company called this is getting really long. You can
No, keep going.
We also have a company called Fab Tap, and it's a like customized small Airstream trailer. And it was built to have taps for like champagne and bubbles.
Yep.
And so you could rent it out for an engagement party, wedding, birthday
Like corporate
party,
event. Yeah.
corporate event, and then kind of expanded it beyond that. So we also have the ability to put in, non-alcoholic drinks and then even like candy. So it's turned into something that can use for like teens' birthday parties too. And it's really cute. So that's called Fab Tap.
Oh my gosh, this is crazy. Wait, I have some questions. The Pedal Tavern, are you guys the only ones or are there other companies that are doing that too?
There are others. So
Okay.
we started the company in 2010, and then probably after about 3 or 4 years, other competitors started coming in. So I think there's maybe three businesses, maybe. There used to be four, but I think there's only three now.
Okay.
Um, but we're the OGs. We're the ones,
The best.
the best. We're the ones that get featured in the music video.
Oh, really?
Yes.
Fun. Wait, how did y'all like just start with that and pick a city that was like growing and tourism was crazy to like be doing that for Minneapolis?
Yeah, so they have the Minneapolis was this people started it here. They started buying these bikes from Europe, this company that made them, and they
Okay.
brought them to Minneapolis. And my husband just got in touch with someone through his dad who said he wants to open some of these. Do they want to go in together? And he had actually was just opening one in Milwaukee. And so then the two of them started like scouting cities to do it and ended on Nashville, having never been there before. Went there once and
Wow.
said, this is it.
Yeah.
The tricky part about Nashville, though, is hills,
Yeah.
where in other cities you could make a loop, but you can't do that in Nashville.
Because it's like it's too
So,
hard to get up all those
right, we
people.
start at
Yeah.
the top of the hill and go down to Broadway.
Oh,
So,
how funny.
yeah, so that was kind of just, and 2010, Nashville looked a lot different than
I
it did.
know. It's like popping off right now. It's basically like a mini Vegas. It's
Yeah,
crazy.
yeah.
All of like when people come and visit, they're like, "Do you go to Broadway often?" I'm like, "I don't." But I love when people come in town and I get to go to Broadway and have like my fun little Nashville night because
Mhm.
that is like so fun. But like the locals, like we're like not just like hitting up Broadway anytime because it's like so busy. There's so much going on, but it's awesome. I mean, there's so much to do there. Okay, let's get into this Ireland trip. So this past summer, well, this summer for you still, you guys haven't started school. So this summer, June 2025, you took a 10-night trip to Ireland with multiple family members and multiple family member ages. So let's start with why Ireland? Why did you guys book this trip?
My dad has Irish heritage. His grandparents were born in Ireland and immigrated to the U.S. And his brother was living in Europe and wanted to get dual citizenship. So he actually made the time to find the living relatives there, tracked them down, went to the house, visited, so he could get his dual citizenship. But then he learned all this stuff about our family. And we've just been talking about with my parents that we should go, because there might be a point in time where it's going to be physically too hard for them to go. And it was sort of like, let's not wait. And actually, the summer before, my husband and I talked about going because we wanted to go to see Taylor Swift in Dublin
Yes.
and then do this trip at the same time. But it was too last minute. So we didn't get to do that. But then, so we said, we just need to do it.
Yeah, I love that. As travelers, we have to make sure like the budget works and the funding for the trip works and all the things are in place. But that really is why I end these shows with just book it because it's like you really never know what's going to happen in life. And especially with like parents, grandparents, it's like if you want to have these memorable times, you will never regret taking these big family trips with the different ages in the family. So I'm happy that you guys just went for it. So let's go through who all went on this trip.
So my husband and I and our two daughters, age 9 and 7, and then my parents and my sister and her husband. My nephew was originally going to go, but he just finished his freshman year of college and felt like he should probably save money and work. So kind of the responsible thing, and
Yeah.
probably wanted to just hang out with his friends. So
Yeah.
he ended up not going, but he got souvenirs. So
Okay, awesome. Love this already. So let's talk about getting there. I'm assuming not everybody's coming from the same place, but let's talk about how you guys got there.
Sure. So we live in Minneapolis, and Delta has a direct flight there seasonally.
That is such a jackpot.
So we can, I think it's May through October, you can fly direct. So we all arrived within like 2 or 3 hours of each other.
That's pretty impressive.
hmm
Had you taken your daughters out of the country before?
No, we got them passports the year before just in case we were going to go to Taylor Swift.
Yeah. Smart. Thanks,
But
Taylor.
yeah, but we've traveled a decent amount in the States, but we've never been out of the country. They've never been on a flight longer than 4 hours. So this was, and I think the great part about Ireland is for us, it's only a 6 hour time change. It's not a crazy long flight. And because Ireland, I think it's really kid friendly. So I just feel like at the end, I'm going to say it again. It's a really good starter place to go with young kids if you're feeling nervous about going to another country, especially in Europe where you might be nervous about language barrier or whatever. So
I love that. How long was the flight?
it was like 7 hours and 15 minutes.
Okay, that's still pretty long, but I feel like
it is.
4
But I
hours
mean,
is like what we kind of do to cross the country, right, in America. So like
right.
4.5. I feel like the last couple hours is where you're probably a little like, okay.
Yeah, yeah. Well, and like I think about us, like we want to go to Hawaii, and for us, that's an hour further away
Yeah,
than
interesting.
Ireland.
Right, right. Did you guys
Yeah,
leave in the morning or the nighttime on the
the
flight?
nighttime. So the
Okay.
flight, it leaves at 6:30 p.m., which actually isn't, I would have preferred if it left later because nobody's really tired
And
yet.
they're excited and it's a big
Yeah.
trip. Yeah.
So nobody really slept on the plane, maybe like an hour or two. Me and my youngest got tickets together on Miles, and then my husband booked with my older daughter and used one of his upgrade certificates. So they were in Delta One, which is like lay flat beds.
Amazing. Was it the older
And
daughter? Or the
yeah,
young?
and
Okay.
then me and the younger one were in main cabin. And I just felt like they were too young for me to go sit up in Delta One.
Right. Yeah,
So
probably 9 and 7.
but the 9-year-old didn't sleep because she was so excited about being in these cool seats.
Yes, of course. But you're like, that's the whole point. You get
Right.
to lay flat.
Yeah. So, I
That
mean,
was
we all
probably
probably,
very memorable for her, though.
yes, because I've never slept in
Yeah,
been on a lay flat seat on a plane, but my 9-year-old has.
exactly. Did they
Um,
have the same ones on the way back or no?
no, the way back was, and it's a daytime flight on the way home.
Okay.
But it was a much fuller flight, so nobody got upgraded.
Yeah, I was gonna say if they had the same ones on the way back, he better have traded with you.
Yeah, he would have. He would have. And he was gonna drive when we got there, so I wanted him to have the most comfortable
That's nice of
flight.
you. Yes. Do you think
Um,
he slept? Did he sleep?
I think we all took like a short nap,
Yeah.
but that was it.
Yeah. And then did you have any tips or tricks for that first long flight with kids? I know they're not babies anymore, so you don't have to bring all that kind of stuff, but any fun things you packed that help pass the time for that long of a flight?
I mean, we were trying to get them to sleep,
Yeah, so you don't
so
want to let them do too much.
we have iPads they only use on planes. We don't use them at home. So their choices were play games on the iPad or watch a movie, and then we were going to turn off technology. We really tried to not have too much to do because we wanted them to try to rest. So we just did that. And then in the morning, once they turn the lights on and they're handing out breakfast, we had some like travel books where it was like a bunch of different games and activities that we were going to have for the car ride too, but they did a little bit of it on the plane. But I think if for on the way home, we didn't really need anything, but since that's a daytime flight, we really like when the kids were younger. I don't know if you ever did this, but um, like removable stickers that they can just like put everywhere, but can come off because you don't
That's
want
smart. I actually didn't think of that. We used to have regular stickers and they would put them all over me and my face,
Yes.
but removable,
Yeah, so
they can
they're
put them all
like,
over the seats and the windows and
yeah,
everything.
and they come with like a board where you can do a design on it, but then they just put them everywhere. And then when we were leaving, we could take them off and put them back on the board.
Very smart.
That was like a hit when they were younger. So if they were a little bit younger, I would have definitely brought those again.
Okay, perfect. So then you land in Ireland. I'm going to go through the cities that you visited real quick so everybody knows kind of where we're headed, and then we'll go
Sure.
into each one. You landed in Dublin and then immediately headed to Kilkenny, followed by Cork and Blarney, and then Killarney. I feel like I'm doing an Irish rhyme. Then Galway and Dublin. So I'm not sure if I'm saying those all perfectly, but that's kind of the itinerary that you guys took. So you arrive in Dublin. You're probably a little tired at this point, but also very excited to be in Europe. Tell us about arriving. Did you get a rental car and all that kind of stuff?
Fox News is now streaming live on Fox One. The voices you trust, the stories you won't find anywhere else.
This is the story breaking right now.
Fox One, we live for live.
Try it free for 7 days. Offers are subject to change. Go to Fox One for complete terms and conditions.
Dublin Airport is, I think, a really nice, easy airport to navigate. So we arrive, we get off the plane, we go to get in line to go through immigration in Ireland, and they have sort of a EU, non-EU, British line. They have three lines now that the UK isn't part of the EU anymore. So the line actually wasn't bad. We landed pretty early. I think if we were there a little bit later in the morning, more flights maybe would have been coming in from the States. But I think it took less than 10 minutes to get through.
Oh, that's awesome.
And then right after that, you get your bags and you're out. And you walk out the door and the rental car kiosks are as right as you're walking out towards the parking garage. So you don't have to take a shuttle or a tram. It's super easy. We rented a car. Everyone in our family rented a car because since we all are different ages, different priorities, we wanted to be able to separate if we needed to.
Yeah, smart.
So we rented a car through a company called New Way. And Ireland's kind of tricky with rental cars because most of the time you don't buy the insurance for a car because you have your credit card covers insurance. Well, they don't necessarily accept that. A lot of credit card companies don't cover insurance in Ireland. So
Good to know.
you either have to get a special note from your credit card company if they do, or you have to buy their insurance, which is expensive and really high deductible. And when you're traveling to a country and someone's driving on the wrong side of the road, not wrong, other side of the road
Yeah.
for the first time, you want to have insurance. So
Yes.
this company, everything's included. So the rate you pay, there's no deductible, if something's damaged, there's no claim, it's just they take care of it. So we decided to do that. It was a little more, but it was just stress-free. So
And what was the name of the car rental company again?
New Way, Neway.
New Way. Okay, awesome.
And
yes, they do drive on not the
The
opposite side of the road,
left side
and
of the
the
road.
drivers on the opposite side.
Exactly.
I feel like my brain would not be able to do that.
My husband said that the steering wheel being on the opposite side was harder than just driving on the opposite side. I thought he did a pretty good job picking it up quickly. I think he was that first day, it's hard because
Yeah.
he's tired.
Yeah.
And
And
so,
everything, driving is so like, after you've been doing it for years and years and years, it's so just, you don't even think about it. It's kind of scary to think about how much, sometimes you like zone out while you're driving and you're like, oh, I kind of forgot I was driving. Pay attention.
yeah.
And so it's so like, what's the word I'm looking for? Like muscle memory, where you just
Yes.
do it. So to have it all opposite of your muscle memory, I feel like you'd have to be like very focused the whole time.
Yes. The one nice thing is the gas and the brake are the same.
Okay. So that part's
They
the same.
are still right for gas,
Yeah.
left for brake pedal. So that was helpful. And we've rented an automatic transmission. We weren't going to deal with manual transmission
Yeah.
and opposite. And I really do think for Ireland, especially when you have kids, having, my mom wanted to do like a group tour maybe, but I said we need to be able to pivot, change course, pull off. We
Yes.
really wanted to have a car.
I don't
So
think group tours work unless they're small and customized, like the other Ireland episode we did, which if y'all haven't listened to that one, that's more like kind of like a luxury, adults only type trip. That type of tour, fine for the right reasons. But the big tours, like I had someone I was talking to. Oh, I think they were DMing me on Instagram and she like plans all the trips, all the trips. And she said, I let my husband plan a trip because I was just like, I want to go see Grand Canyon and Antelope Canyon and all that kind of stuff, which we recently did, but I didn't want to plan it. And he did one of the big group tours. And she's like, I was losing my mind because I would want to stay somewhere longer and she had no control over it. And she was like, it's not for me. So I feel like it was smart for you guys to kind of like split up and do your own thing.
right, and have the car. So it was definitely, I think it's worth getting used to. And pick the person to drive who's gonna feel the most confident doing that. I've been to Ireland just for work, and I did have to drive, not for very far, but it was very nerve-wracking.
Yeah,
So
look at
my
you. I'm
husband's just a more
impressed.
mellow person in general, so that was
Perfect.
helpful. He doesn't
Perfect.
panic.
Yeah.
So we got in the car and we had arrived the earliest. But since everyone had their own cars, we just said, okay, we're going to just hit the road and we'll
Yeah.
meet
We're not
you.
waiting around. We got two kids
Yeah.
with us. Yeah.
So our plan was to just get in the car and drive to our first hotel. And so we hit the road. I mean, so between landing and getting in the car, driving out of the airport was an hour tops.
Yeah. That's awesome.
So
That's so encouraging.
it's really easy to get in and out of the Dublin airport. And people can fly into Shannon too, and I've never been to that airport, but there's just a lot more direct flights from the US to Dublin.
Awesome.
We got in the car, we started driving, and of course, my younger daughter has to go to the bathroom.
Yep.
Um, so we're just trying to find a place that we can stop.
And are you like at this point, is it just like very city feeling, like Dublin City, or are you already kind of in the countryside and it would be hard to
So
find a place to stop?
so we kind of were in sort of like out of the city center, sort of in kind of, I don't want to say suburbs, but where
Residential.
there's stops, but it's like nothing right on the highway. It's like, okay, exit this to get to this suburb. So it was,
And you're kind of like, I don't really know these suburb or these residential areas or where we should go. And if you get off, are you going to be able to get to a bathroom quickly? Or are you driving like 5 miles in the wrong
so
direction?
I'm actively trying to find, okay, where's a town where I think there'll be one? So we're driving, and I'm just like, please just hold it as much as
Yeah.
you can. And we did get off, and what was the town? Kilcullen, I think was the name of it. And we pulled off, and we had to drive a little, probably 5 minutes off of the main motorway we were on. And we found the town. And so it's all street parking. So my husband's trying to park, no sleep, driving on the opposite side of the road, opposite side of the car, and he's trying to park and parallel park. And he finally just said, can you guys just get out?
Get out of this car.
And he drove around and looked for a spot because he just couldn't park.
Yeah.
And
I
so
can't
we
imagine
went-
parallel parking with the wrong. I would just be like, I don't even know which way I'm turning my hands and the wheel and everything.
he just found a spot where he could just pull right up to it. So we went to the petrol station, but they don't have a bathroom, which I think is common. It's not like in the US where every gas station is going to have a restroom for you to use. And I said, even if I buy something,
Yeah, please.
said no.
You're like, I know you go to the bathroom somewhere, so please let me.
So we walked down the street and we found a coffee shop, which was perfect because we were tired. And it's called the Little Brew Cafe. And so we went in and ordered and we asked for the bathroom key, and they give us this like little old-fashioned key, and you go outside around the corner and you go in this tiny bathroom. So already my kids are like, this is so fun because we're using these like old-fashioned keys to go in this tiny bathroom. And we had to keep opening and closing the door because they both wanted to use the old keys.
That's so fun though.
Yeah, it was really cute. And the I had an oat milk latte, and it's kind of hard even for people here to make good oat milk lattes, and it was really good.
It was like your
Um,
first little Irish adventure.
yeah, it was great. It worked out really well, and we sat, and most of the time people don't get, and I think this is true for all of Europe. Most of the time people don't get coffees to go. You order it and you stay and drink it.
Yeah.
That's pretty common. So we sat and drank our coffee, and the kids had pastries. And then we headed to our hotel, and we are staying at the Mount Juliet Estate
In Kilkenny.
in Kilkenny. So it's not really near this. It's not in the city. It's like the town is probably about 10-15 minutes from the estate. We drove through Kilkenny and just kind of looked around, but by then everyone was just ready to get to the hotel, so we didn't get out.
Okay. Tell us about arriving to the hotel. What's it
So
look like?
we're driving down, and then once you get off the motorway, all the streets are very narrow, small. You feel like you're in the country, even if you're not. Or it's like everything feels like the country, even though this is like a normal neighborhood there. So we can't figure out, we're like, is there really an estate here? But then you remember these homes are a couple hundred years old, so of course they're not necessarily going to be off a major highway.
Right.
Um, so the Mount Juliet Estate, so we turn off, and it's, this fancy drive with gate, and you're driving down this beautiful road, and you pull up to this estate. I think the manor house was built in 1757. It's this beautiful estate, and then they ended up converting the stable yard into kind of a second hotel space. So, because the main estate, I think, has 30, or no, not 30, 13 rooms. And then this 100 yard they turned into with 30 rooms. So,
So it's pretty small.
yeah, it is. Yeah. I mean, the property's big,
Right.
but
The accommodate there's not a ton of people staying there. Like the amount of rooms is pretty small for a hotel.
correct, correct. So we pull up, and we were staying at the Hunter's Yard. So we kind of turned a different direction than where the main manor house was to pull in. And we drive. At first, I told my husband to go park and I'll go check in, which I shouldn't have, because of course, an estate, they have a house with people that will take your
Yeah.
luggage and
They're like,
park
don't
your
lift a
car
finger.
for free.
Yeah.
And they had this golf cart that was turned into kind of like a mini bus. So that way, if it was raining, you were enclosed. So, they could have driven us if we had parked and we wanted to, they would have driven us from our car to the entrance of the hotel. But, so it's so beautiful because it's obviously where we stayed was an old stables yard, but they've turned it into this really pretty rock, lavishly decorated with beautiful gardens, plants, cobblestone walkways, lots of outdoor seating areas. So, and then when you walk into the lobby to check in, they've got that decorated kind of in a 19th century furnishings, and these like beautiful mahogany desks where you go to check in. And so it was really pretty. Everybody was just like, oh, we only had one night booked here. We should have booked more nights the second we walked in the door.
That is something that I think is common in Ireland episodes is this like perfectly lovely and charming furnishings. I looked up this hotel as well, and it was like stone, and then you go in and like wallpaper and all these beautiful colors, and like you said, the mahogany desks, and everything just looks like so welcoming. I just love it. And I've never been to Ireland, but I feel like every hotel just feels like, so welcoming and lovely and traditional and beautiful. So I love hearing about all these hotels.
Yeah, it was the really nice thing about this. So this Mount Juliet Estate is an Autograph Collection Marriott property. So if you're a Marriott person, I wouldn't recommend booking on points because Marriott's not great with points redemption, but you can, earn points if you're,
Yeah.
maybe if you use Marriott for work, you could earn some
Get some
extra
night
points.
stays on your record.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
it's when it comes to estates in Ireland, you are getting a lot for your money because some of those manors and estate hotels are luxury and the price tag comes with it.
Right.
This place was I mean, we only stayed one night, but we could have stayed multiple nights. It was very affordable for what you're getting. That was the other part. I was like, I can't believe what we're paying to stay here for a night. So that was really nice, I think, because it's really beautiful, but it's if you're on traveling on a budget, you really can stay there. And I will also, or I'll get into maybe the room next.
Yeah. What were the rooms like? Was your family four able to stay in one room?
Yes. So I think because we were in the hunter's yard, the manor house, the rooms it would sleep to, their traditional rooms. So the hunter's yard, they put in rooms with two queen beds that could accommodate four. So
Perfect.
that was also great because I was always on the hunt for places where I didn't have to get two rooms, which sometimes is hard in Europe. So it was a two queen bedroom. We were on the main floor, so our window was basically a door to the gardens. So
Cool.
that was really cute. And they look really, I don't know how new the rooms are, but they look new. They're beautifully furnished. The bathrooms just covered in marble and huge, which is kind of a surprise for Ireland. And we had sparkling still water treats all waiting for us
Aw.
in our room when we got there. So I think having the ability to have four in a room was great. And it was a decent sized room. It's similar size to if you went to Marriott in the States. So it
Awesome.
had good enough space for us to open up our suitcases, place to sit down. So that was really nice. We had air conditioning. Not all
Amazing.
the
This is
hotels.
getting better by the second.
Yeah. So everybody gets in the room and we're changing clothes, and my husband's decide he's going to lay down on the bed. And I said,
Yeah, you guys
absolutely
have to be getting tired at this point. Is it
yes,
like the afternoon at this point?
yes.
Yeah.
And I said, absolutely not. We're getting up. And by then, my parents are staying at the hotel too, and they were getting close. They were behind us, but they were almost there. So we just walked around the grounds for a little bit. Found they have a playground there. Nobody was there. I think I saw two children the whole time we were there. It wasn't busy because it's not a big property,
Yeah.
but it's
But it's
big.
like totally family friendly, just
Right,
it wasn't
right.
busy. Yeah.
Yeah. So we went to the playground for a bit, and
What's the
then
playground like? Is it like old stuff or is it like what's
Um,
it like?
it was made out of wood.
Okay.
There was a slide, there was a wood structure, there was some really old-fashioned looking rocking horse, and then there was a
Cute.
big zip line.
Oh, fun.
My kids love, and you know what I mean, like playground
Yeah,
one.
playground zip line. Yeah.
But it was way bigger than what we're used to the point where I was like getting kind of nervous because they were going fast.
That is so fun though. It's so rare to have like a semi-cool playground at a nice estate.
Yes.
Maybe it's
So
not in Ireland. I don't know, but this
I
sounds great for
I
kids.
know. And it was the best decision. We actually added this day to our trip. We weren't planning on even arriving at this day, but it was perfect because we just got to relax and be outside and get over jet lag. And when I say get over jet lag, I mean just like try to stay
Yeah,
awake. Um,
exactly. Was
but
there any sort of on-site restaurant? Like, did you guys have to get food at this point, or were you guys good?
there was. So there's multiple restaurants. So my parents arrive and they're hungry too. So we meet them at the clubhouse. So there's a golf course at this estate. And so there's a clubhouse restaurant that's part indoor, part outdoor, overlooking the golf course. So we met them at the clubhouse and got some lunch. We got soup. The kids had chicken, chicken. I think they call them chicken goujons, which is basically chicken tenders.
Okay.
So they had a lot of chicken tenders and chips on this trip. So we had a nice outdoor lunch, and then we went back to the playground and wandered the garden. There's so many gardens there. There was a huge rose garden. There was a fairy
Oh,
garden
cute.
where they kind of built all the little fairy houses.
Yeah.
So we just walked around the property after lunch. And then I think we did go back to the room for a little bit. Nobody slept, but we just relaxed a little bit. And then there's another restaurant on the side we stayed called The Hound. And that restaurant is also where they serve the breakfast that's included. But we ate dinner there. and we sat on the kind of indoor outdoor area where it's like your table is these like comfortable couches on one side, and then like it felt like you were sitting in a lounge chair, but you were eating dinner, and you were overlooking this like green golf course, and it's not
Wow. I am
dark,
like,
but it's
sign me up for this hotel.
my husband and I just talked about it because I said, "What would you change about our trip?" And he's like, "Stay there more."
Uh-huh. Yeah, it sounds like a lovely place to stay,
Yeah.
especially when you first get to Ireland, because it's not too far from Dublin, but it's very, you're already getting those Irish vibes and
Mm.
that like welcoming feel. And it's just like a great place to start.
Yeah, it was great. The dinner was amazing. My youngest daughter fell asleep while she was eating her food,
That's
but
expected. Yeah.
by then it's 8 p.m., so she did pretty good.
Yeah.
It was really nice. And we all kind of went to bed after we ate, but we made it all day without sleeping.
Yeah. Impressive.
And by doing that, we all woke up the next morning, no jet lag, on Irish time.
Amazing.
Perfect. So
Awesome.
it was great.
Fox News is now streaming live on Fox One. The voices you trust, the stories you won't find anywhere else.
This is the story breaking right now.
Fox One, we live for live.
Try it free for 7 days. Offers are subject to change. Go to Fox One for complete terms and conditions.
So then that next day, are you exploring Kilkenny or did you just explore it on your drive through?
Yeah, so we didn't end up having time to go into Kilkenny other than our drive-through. I would say if you have time, it looks like a really cute village and some like ancient places to visit there.
Yeah.
But my sister stayed somewhere else, so we were all trying to meet up somewhere to get to our next destination.
Okay.
But we did go before we left. We had this amazing breakfast there. The nice part, most Irish hotels include breakfast in your
Awesome.
stay. And it's not just a buffet. They also usually have a menu of 5 or 6 items that you can order a la carte, also included. So the kids could get pancakes if they wanted to, or also the buffet. So that was like every breakfast we had was amazing.
That's
So
awesome. And that really helps like a family. If you're able to get that one room and you get a nice breakfast included, that like really helps out on the cost of a trip. You're feeding 4 people or 5 people free breakfast. That's awesome.
exactly. We did want to go. They have horses there, so we wanted to see if we could go. We weren't going to be able to do horseback riding, but we wanted to go see them. And the man that works at the like entry house, we were walking around, and he of course walked up to us because people in Ireland are friendly and helpful. And he said, "What are you trying to do?" And he said, "Well, the owner of the horse stable is doing like an inspection, so we couldn't see the horses." And he said, "I'll take you in my bus golf cart to go see the hounds
Aw.
because they used to have hounds and they do like hunting tours with them, and they don't do that anymore, but they still raise and breed the hounds. And there's puppies at this
Oh,
time."
so
So
cute.
he drove us to go check that out, and the kids all loved it. And you don't pet them, you
Yeah.
just get to kind of watch them. But it was really fun to do that before we left. And then we hit up the playground for a couple minutes and hit the road. And so my parents are following us. My sister's going to meet us at the Rock of Cashel. So our end stop is our hotel in Blarney, which is just outside of Cork. It's nice because Rock of Cashel is kind of on the way from where we were. So we drove there down winding, confusing roads. A couple of times the road has sometimes it's nature and sometimes it's two walls. And so if you come across a large vehicle, you might have to back up because you
Yeah.
can only go over so far.
Yeah.
So all of these 2-lane roads are really 1 lane. We luckily didn't pass any in that case, but there was a couple times where a huge tractor came and we had to go in the ditch. But if we had been by a wall, we would have had to back up for a long
Yeah.
time.
Wow.
We went to Rock of Cashel just for a little while. I would say the nice part about going there was it's an ancient site.
It's like
There,
an ancient tower. Is that what this one is? Almost like a mini castle tower. And then are you overlooking beautiful views and cliffs, or am I
yeah,
making this up?
yeah.
Okay.
And so I think even before these monasteries were built, people inhabited it because it's so up high you can see around. The one nice thing about some of these places they have, you can go in a room and watch a little video about the history. And that worked out great for kids because we learn a lot of things about Ireland in general. So then when we're doing other things, the kids have already kind of heard like, okay, these things that you think are castles, some of them are just actually homes that people built after the plague because they were so afraid of people coming and attacking them. So it was funny because we would have never known that
Yeah.
when you're driving around. Like the things that are just a big tower, that wasn't a castle. That was just somebody's home. So just a normal Joe farmer who maybe, got a little money, built these. So
I do love those little videos at all the different places you are. Like we watched a bunch of those in New York City, and it really does. I mean, it helps me too, but especially helps the kids wrap their brain around like where you are, what's going on, and then it just gives them some more because this is all new to them.
right.
So that's perfect that they have that
It
here.
was good to go there the first day. I think it's one of those like popular spots to stop. I would say if you weren't going that direction, I think it'd be okay to miss it because there's another place I'll talk about later that's kind of similar that you could visit. Then we continued on towards Cork. Cork is a city, and that means traffic. So we chose to stay in Blarney. One, because the hotel we stayed at was nice and affordable. And two, we were going to be exploring places outside of the area. So we wanted to be able to get out quickly.
Without tons of traffic and stuff.
Yeah. And
Smart.
even just driving through Cork, I knew we made the right choice because it was a lot of traffic. But we did stop in, it's spelled Cobh, but it's actually pronounced Cobh.
Okay.
And
Cobh, but pronounced Cove. Okay.
And it's just south of Cork and it's by the ocean. And it's actually where the Titanic made its last stop before.
Wow. Oh my
it
gosh,
was the
crazy.
last- yeah. It doesn't have the big museum is in Belfast because that's where the Titanic was built.
Okay.
But after the Titanic left England, it stopped there before heading out. It's also a big town where a lot of people immigrated to America from too. So we got there, we parked at the top of a hill, which maybe we shouldn't have done that. So we had to walk down these like giant stairs to get to the cute town area by the water. And it was kind of rainy and windy. And so we walked around for about 15 minutes and the kids were ready to go.
Yeah. You're like, look around though. The Titanic was here. They're
Yeah.
like, it's raining and I'm tired.
Yeah. We did talk about the Titanic a lot because one of my daughters reads these books called I Survived.
Oh yeah. My son's really into those as well.
Yeah, so we did talk about that a lot, but more in the car afterwards. So, but then my dad and my husband had to go get the cars and drive them down to us because I was like, I don't think we're getting everyone back up that hill. Then we ended up not spending any time at Cork because they were just ready to be done driving. So we just went straight to our hotel.
Okay. And where'd you stay?
So we stayed at the Blarney Woolen Mills Hotel
Okay.
in Blarney. So Blarney is where the Blarney Castle is. And it's just a little village. It's outside of Cork. I think this hotel, like when I book clients as a travel agent, if they do want to do a tour, a lot of people, they'll have that as a night stopover. But it's a nice, cute, small hotel. It's really affordable, but in great condition. But it has like some charm, but it's like being in a cute hotel in the States. So you definitely get some cute vibes from it, but it's not like a quintessential old-timey.
Not like the
it's
first
built
place
in
you
an
stayed.
Yeah, it's built in an old building. It's like part of the original mill where they made the wool. But it's a really great small hotel, though, and you can walk to the Blarney Village. You can walk to Blarney Castle. So it was great.
I just have to say one thing. It's also technically a Best Western.
That's right. Yes.
Which has come up on the podcast before because I'm always like following these influencers who are in Europe at Best Westerns or partnering with them. And I'm like, what is happening with Best Western in Europe and why is it so much cuter and nicer? And so I had to ask ChatGPT last night because I was like, I need to know what's happening with Best Western. So I just need to read this really quickly because I was like, this makes so much more sense. And I feel like it will encourage people to book Best Westerns in Europe if needed. when it comes up because we have a different view of it here in America. So ChatGPT said Best Western isn't actually a traditional hotel chain. It consists of independently owned hotels. In Europe, many of these hotels were already charming, historic, or boutique properties before joining Best Western. So they keep their personality, architecture, and sometimes higher end finishes. In the US, the brand is more often applied to mid scale roadside hotels. In Europe, you'll see more Best Western Premier and Best Western Signature Collection hotels. These are aimed at upscale travelers and have stricter design and amenity requirements. In the US, a higher percentage of Best Westerns are the basic Best Western or Best Western Plus, which have looser style requirements. European Best Westerns are often in the heart of walkable cities, like we're just talking about, competing with other stylish boutique hotels. A Best Western in Europe might be inside a centuries-old building that has been recently renovated with high-quality finishes. Think marble staircases, wrought iron balconies, modern bathrooms. And the US, it's more of just like a modern boxy build. So anyways, I'm saying all that. The moral of the story is don't sleep on Best Westerns in Europe. I was like, I need to figure out what's going on here. And now I know. And now you guys know too.
Yes. You wouldn't have known it was a Best Western except like when you get an email.
Yeah, when you're booking.
It's somewhere in the tagline. And it is like the lobby, there's like a bunch of teacups in displays and they have like nice furniture. So it's a really cute hotel.
Yeah, and the fact that it's walkable to everything is awesome.
I know. And the great part, they don't have air conditioning there.
Okay.
But it wasn't that hot when we were there. So it was fine. And because we weren't in the city, we could open our windows. Where if you're staying in the city, you might not want your windows open if it's too noisy.
Yeah.
We did have to get 2 rooms there, but it was very affordable.
So you stayed here 2 nights.
We stayed 2 nights here. Yes.
Okay.
And so there is a restaurant in the hotel. It's only open for breakfast and lunch. So breakfast, there's a section for hotel guests to get their free breakfast. And then people who aren't staying at the hotel, there's a place they can order food. The breakfast was amazing.
Awesome.
The pastries, the drinks, and then we all ordered breakfast. So my mom had this like amazing egg dish with mushrooms, and my daughter got a side of bacon, and it was just she likes bacon that's actually not cooked very much, and she just like her eyes lit up. She was so excited. And then next to the hotel, there's probably 3 or 4 pubs, restaurants in the village.
Fun.
And there's one pub that's literally like I can look out the window of the pub into the window of our hotel room. So there was one super, super close. And then the main reason we were staying there, we wanted to visit Blarney Castle, but the main reason we were staying there is because my dad's family is from County Cork, and that's where we are. We're in County Cork, and the town where his family is from, there's not really anything near it. So that was the closest place where we wanted to stay to be able to drive out to the town they're from.
On Fox 1, you can stream Fox's biggest moments live. Get out! Bigger.
I can feel the sweat, and I can smell it a little.
Bigger.
That was genius!
Yeah, that's what we talking about. Fox 1, we live for live. Streaming now.
So our first day, we stayed the night in Blarney Woolen Mills Hotel, and then the next morning we drive to Kilcullen, which is the town my dad's grandparents' home is, and it's on the Sheep's Head Peninsula. So think southwest peninsula in Ireland.
Okay.
And there's just a bunch of small towns there. So you can't really drive. There's no major motorway to get there. And
so how long is this drive going to be about?
If we didn't stop, an hour and 45 minutes.
Okay.
And it's not that many kilometers, but you just can't go fast.
Yeah.
And we still hadn't figured out which numbers meant bigger roads and which numbers meant small roads. So, because, it's kind of like in the States where you have like interstate, county road. So we were still trying to figure that out.
Got it.
And also we're with my sister, and they want to explore. They want to go all the back ways to see all the things.
Like the long and winding road.
Yes.
Because they don't have kids in their car.
They did a lot of that where we didn't join, but this day we did.
Okay.
So we're driving around all these winding roads. They found like this random tower home that we stopped, and it was like in someone's yard, but they kept the gate open. So I think the Irish people are used to tourists stopping. So if the gate's open, safe to proceed. But they had sheep, just like this tower home was part of their property where they keep their sheep. So unfortunately, we couldn't go up in it because the sheep had sort of made a mess in the lower level. So we walked around. It was really cute, and the kids got to see the sheep. And so it was a nice little stop. Then we're driving again, and there's a lot of cyclists that do tours in Ireland. And this happened to be on one of the common routes that they take. So then it's almost
You're
double
like
the
behind.
time
Oh my gosh,
because
that would be so
you can't
painful.
you can't pass because the roads are like you don't want to get in an accident. So it was okay, but it took a really long time to get there. I would
Yeah.
say it probably took us 2.5 hours.
You're like
or
going the
almost.
speed of a bicycle.
Yeah. So we finally get to the town and we find the house. My uncle had given us like GPS coordinates because they don't necessarily have like an address for
Okay.
them. So we find the house and nobody lives there. The last living relative passed away many years ago, who was the last one to live there. So it was vacant. So the door was locked. So we were like, well, we probably shouldn't try to bust in the door. But we walked around. The home was built in the late 1700s. There was still like these original sheds and storage area, and
So cool.
it was really cool. And
So this is your dad's grandparents that lived in this house.
yes.
Had he ever visited before now?
No, he'd
Okay.
never been. His brother had gone, and
Okay.
that he went when the great aunt was still living there. So it was like
Okay.
the family home for 200 years. And he had never been. It was really cool. And it was funny. Right after we got there, we're kind of exploring this like really old rock storage shed, and this cat just got spooked and came running out. So then my oldest daughter, she went and stood by the car after that.
Yeah. She's like, where are we?
Uh,
Do you know who the home went to when the most recent living relative passed away?
I do. So she actually willed it to the neighbor
Okay.
because most of the family doesn't live in the States anymore or in Ireland anymore. And this neighbor kind of took care of her
Oh, yeah.
for the later half of her life, helped maintain the house, helped maintain the property. And I think some of the land had already been kind of like, I don't think they still owned all the property that included at one point. And we knew that. We knew the neighbor, it had been willed to him. So nobody was upset about it.
Yeah.
And he's just the nicest person. And I think he's actually going to fix it up and his daughter is going to move into it.
Did you guys get to meet him?
So we had to leave because the kids were getting antsy. But so my sister did. They went and talked to him and visited with him. And he said
Nice.
he's met like other second cousins who come, like all the family members keep coming to visit.
So cool. Awesome.
yeah,
Well, that
he
had
was
to be
nice.
really special for your dad.
Yeah. And when you're driving through the town, you go to the cemetery where all your relatives are buried. And all the signs have like all the same last name. So, because people kind of stay, in countries, they kind of stay where they're from.
Yeah.
So,
Cool. What's your last name? What was because it's your maiden name, right?
yes, McCarthy.
Okay, perfect. McCarthy. Awesome.
So, yeah. So if you meet an Irish person and you say you're a McCarthy, they immediately know that your family's from County Cork.
Okay,
Like that's
cool.
just where the McCarthys lived.
Awesome.
So that kind of was a full day activity.
Yeah. Did you take a faster way back?
We did. It still took a while though, because
Yeah.
you still had to do winding roads for a while before you could get on a bigger road. So we get back and then we go to a restaurant in Blarney Town. It was like a pub restaurant, but it was really good. And, it was a 2-minute walk from the hotel.
Awesome.
Next day, we're leaving Blarney, but we got to go to the castle first.
Obviously, yes.
So we're going to go right when it opens because we're 200 yards away from it, so we don't have to drive to it. And I said, well, let's just leave all our bags in the room because we don't have to check out till noon, and we're not going to be there. I imagine we'd be there for like an hour and a half.
Yeah.
We were there for 3 hours.
Because it was so cool or because there were already so many people there?
It was so cool.
Okay,
So
awesome.
we weren't going to go inside the castle and go up the tower, but I didn't realize this. When you go there, you can't even just explore the castle without getting in the line of people who go up to kiss the Blarney Stone. So my mom's not going to go because she's like, I can't do the stairs. And we weren't sure we were going to go. And then the kids said they wanted to go. So my husband and I and the kids and my dad We get in line and we start going in, and we're in kind of like a main ground level room, and they have kind of signs on the walls to like explain to you. But this place, like, there's no roof, so they don't have it like furnished like a castle. They can't. So they kind of just talk about what the rooms were.
It was a castle that did have a roof, but doesn't anymore.
It doesn't anymore.
Okay.
So they can't like put furniture in it
and stage it.
Do staging it. And actually, this castle was built by a MacCarthy. Some people say that's a different clan than McCarthy, but it actually isn't. It's just like sometime in 1700s or 1800s, some people started getting rid of the A and going with C. So technically, it's our family.
Yeah, technically, you built
castle.
it.
Yeah. Technically, it's our family castle. So we're waiting in the line, and then you just kind of start going through, and there's a sign that says, "Last chance to turn around."
Okay.
And my daughter looks at my husband, who's afraid of heights, and she's like, "Daddy, I think you should go." So he did. I'm glad he did. You're like slowly, and we got there early enough. There was a line, but it probably only took 20 minutes to get from the bottom to the top. And you're going up those narrow, tight staircases, which we learned from the video that that was for safety reasons, because then if someone was coming to attack you, you had the advantage of they're going this tiny staircase.
It'd slow them down to try to get up to you.
Yeah. So we're going up and up, and then we get to the top. And then I'm thinking this was a really bad idea because there's no roof. So you're on these like scaffolding. They build scaffolding there to get people across the top.
Wow.
And it's just like kind of precarious. And so we were fine, but I would definitely not bring a younger kid up there. And I would 100% not let a child under 15 kiss the Blarney Stone, because when you get hung upside down, there's bars there, but a skinny person could fall through the bars.
Oh my gosh, you're giving me anxiety.
So we weren't planning on.
So is that up there, kissing the Blarney Stones at the top?
You have to get to the top of the castle. So that's the thing, is you have to go in line to kiss the Blarney Stone to even see the inside of the castle.
Okay.
So we knew we were going to go. We weren't going to kiss it, but we kind of had to go through the line. So we're watching other people doing it. And
I need to like watch a YouTube video of this, because I just need like a better, on the episode, the other island episode, she talked about it, and she was like, you have to hang on to the bars. And I was like, no, I didn't know that. Like, I just thought
there's a drawing of what it used to be like. And it was, they'd hang them over the edge of the, like in olden times, they'd hang them over the edge of the castle, because this stone is like underneath the ledge of the castle.
Oh my gosh.
And so now, because the castle's kind of in ruins, you can get to it from like inside. So they have this like place where you can lay a mats you can lay on, and they built a bar that you can hold,
and you kind of pull yourself out a little bit.
Upside down and kiss it. But it's like you have to hang out. When you're down below, you can see the people hanging out.
Oh my gosh. Okay, I'm watching a YouTube video on this later.
We weren't going to do it anyways, but I wouldn't let my kid do it even if they wanted to.
Yeah.
But while we're up there, my daughter, a bee flies by, and my one daughter is really scared of bees, but we're on this like scaffolding. And I'm like, if she freaks out.
Is this the 7-year-old or the 9-year-old?
9-year-old.
Okay.
So we're standing. So I actually was kind of nervous, but I was feeling okay. But when that happened, I saw it. She hadn't seen it. I just grabbed her and held her as tight as I could. So then if she did see it, I could like keep her in place. And it flew away. But for a split second, I was
You're like, she's going to like try to bolt, but she can't.
In the middle or out the side.
Oh my gosh, that is scary.
So anyways, it was great, but definitely afraid of heights, don't do it. And young kids, don't do it.
Okay.
But then the great part is then when you're going down, because they kind of go up one side, down the other, we could then go into all the rooms and learn about what was here, what was there.
It's unfortunate that you like have to go that other way and you can't go up both sides.
Yeah, I know. So it was really fun still. Like that moment aside, I'm so glad my husband didn't go, because it would have been way too scary.
Okay, good to know. Good tips.
And then like the gardens, we did that first, and then we went around the gardens. And it's a lot of natural Irish plant life, but they also, it's meant to be kind of, it's like when you go to a botanical garden and sometimes they have different plant life that's not native. So they have so many different areas. Like there's an area that was like a fern garden, and it looked like you were in Jurassic Park.
Wow.
And so we wandered around that place, and then you can go underneath the castle and kind of look at these caves underneath.
Cool.
There was just so much to explore. Like it is amazing for kids.
So do you think it's worth a stop if people are going on this trip with kids and they're like, because of this episode, I might not go up into the tower and kiss the Blarney Stone, but you could still explore the grounds?
Yes, yeah.
Okay.
And there's other structures that you can explore. And you, like I said, you can see the outside of it and the caves underneath without going through.
Okay.
I think it's worth it.
Perfect.
We loved it. We were there 3 hours expecting an hour and a half.
And do you pay or do you just show up and get
There
more?
is a fee.
Okay.
I don't remember. I mean, I think it's worth it even if you don't go in the castle.
Yeah, but if you're going in, there's a fee for that whole experience.
Yeah.
Okay, got it.
After that, we're making our way to Killarney. We are headed to an Airbnb that we rented, spelled like Beaufort, but I think it's Beaufort is the pronunciation. And it's just outside of Killarney. So we're making our way there. So we kind of tried to make every spot where the hotels we stayed at were all kind of 2 hours or less between each other. We made a stop in Kinsale, and that's by the ocean. I actually had a work call while we were there. So we walked around the town. We went to the beach. Everyone else was cold, and the kids and my brother-in-law were swimming in the ocean.
Oh, wow.
It's a really pretty beach area.
What are the beaches like in Ireland?
They're really pretty. Depending on where you are, like if you're on the east side towards England, it's more rocky. But the west side gets the Atlantic waves. It's like you have rocks, but then where there is beach, it's fine sand because it's just been pushed up against the rocks, cliffs for so long. So it's usually like cliffs and then a beach area, or like bluffs and then a beach.
Did you have like swimsuits ready to go?
So we did. We brought suits, but we weren't planning on going. It was just kind of a impromptu, let's drive by this beach. So the kids are getting wet in their clothes, fine, but we don't have towels. So we finally convinced them to get off the beach, which is kind of hard to do, so we could go eat lunch. So we're trying to change clothes and dry them off and get sand off of them without any towels. So it was fine. But we got him. So then we went into the town and ate lunch at this restaurant called The White House. It's kind of cool because there was, I think, a person from Ireland who was a firefighter and like helped with 9/11 in New York. So there's all of this like history about him and then 9/11 stuff. So it's kind of weird, but it's really special and cool. So the restaurant's really good food, and there's a hotel above it. And the town's really cute. They have a lot of like what you'd envision an Ireland seashore town. I went out to the car to take my call because the restaurant was loud, and they stayed at the restaurant and watched golf and got dessert.
Nice.
You will find that when you get in a car in Ireland, if you don't get in the driver's seat, the alarm will go off.
Oh, that's fun.
So you have to go to the driver's seat if you get in a car so you could push the brake. Otherwise, it thinks someone's broken into the car, even if you use the key to unlock it.
Wow.
So we stopped there, and then we got the rest of the way to our Airbnb. So this home was like at the kind of the foot of Killarney National Park. So we're like very close to the park, and we've got mountains kind of in the backyard. We're looking at the mountains.
Wow.
It was like the perfect location. It had
Are you all staying here together this time?
Yeah, so we're all staying in the house together.
Okay.
It had 5 bedrooms, so there was enough space for everyone. It was a really nice house. The owner remodeled it, so it's a pretty modern home, but it was just set in this really pretty place at the foot of the mountains. And they have sheep on the property, and so sometimes they'll be wandering around, but they weren't, feeding on the field by our house. So we didn't get to see any of the resident sheep while we were there. So we stayed at this place for 3 nights. We got to eat a lot of meals at the house because we had been eating out every meal up until then.
Where did you guys get your groceries?
We passed a big grocery store in Killarney, and then there was a smaller one closer to, because kind of think of this town we were in as like the suburb of Killarney. Not that Killarney's a big city, but sort of that idea. But there was another market a little bit closer. It was kind of limited, but the produce, the eggs, the milk, the cheese, everything like that was so fresh actually inexpensive. It's all
Awesome.
the packaged food is really expensive because it's an island, probably harder to get there. But anything that could have been made in Ireland was really inexpensive.
Awesome.
Um, we went to Muckross House, which is near Killarney. It's right kind of in a part of the national park. And we didn't go to the Abbey. We went to the house, and that house is very like Downton Abbey style home.
Like, is it really big?
It's big. They've got all the furnishings and decorations from that time period from the owners who built it. You get to walk through all the rooms and it's furnished like how it would have been in the time.
Very cool.
The kids thought that the children's like nursery was cool, but there was creepy dolls in there, so
Makes sense.
but the one reason we wanted to go there is they also have this Muckross Farms that is on the same property, and you can buy a ticket to both. We figured, well, if we're there, we'll go on the house, but we'll go to the farms. And basically, they built this space to kind of replicate what Irish farms were like in like the 1930s. So you walk onto this huge property and you walk down these dirt roads and you get to the first farm. And this is an example of what a small farm would be like. And so it's this little like farm home, and there's a person, dressed in the attire, and she has a fire and she made butter, and you can like help her make butter. And the animals are just kind of wandering around. So it had all the farm animals, and that's always like a hit with my kids, animals. So
I love places like that where people like dress in period clothing and they're like
yes.
cooking the meal and they like act and the animals. I love a place like that. That's so fun for kids.
Yes, it was so fun. We all loved it.
Fox News is now streaming live on Fox One. The voices you trust, the stories you won't find anywhere else.
This is the story breaking right now.
Fox One, we live for live.
Try it free for 7 days. Offers are subject to change. Go to Fox One for complete terms and conditions.
We ate dinner at Porterhouse in Killarney. There are so many fun, cute restaurants to eat in that town. But my sister, we were celebrating her birthday, and she wanted to go somewhere where she could get steak. So we went there. It was amazing. They serve like beef from Irish cows. So it tasted really good, fresh.
Cool.
And we kind of walked around the town afterwards. There was a lot of teens wandering around, and we were trying to figure out if there was an event, but somebody said this kind of they like to wander around town at night.
Like locals, you think?
Yes, yeah,
Okay.
locals. Yeah, they just kind of meet up in the town and walk around and hang out. The next day, we actually went back to Muckross House to do one of the horse carriage rides. We didn't do that the day before because it had started raining. So we came back the next day. And that's where you can do the one where you go around a lake and through the waterfalls.
Ooh, cool.
And that was kind of my daughter's only like must do was ride in a horse carriage. So
And
it
that's
was really
in Killarney National Park.
yes.
All of
Mhm.
this is. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
cool.
And then my sister, they did the Ring of Kerry and drove through the mountains. We did not do that. And they said it didn't take them that long. I think they did it in 3 hours, and that's with stops. But we got to see a lot of stuff because we were staying so close. You kind of were driving into the park just to go to other things sometimes. So I felt
You
like
see a lot just like going from point A to point B in the
right,
park. Yeah.
right. And having the mountains as our view, like they were covered a lot when it was cloudy, but we did have one sunny day, and so you could see the whole mountain.
Cool.
The next day, we're hitting the road to our next destination, Galway. This is our longest driving day, and we knew we were going to make stops. My neighbors from Ireland, she had given us a recommendation to go to this town, Kilcullen. There's cliffs near there. And so we found a place where you can park down by the water, and there's tide pools that you can check out and a restaurant, and then you can actually go on this walk, and it's cliffs. So if you didn't want to go to Cliffs of Moher, you can do this and walk on these trails along these cliffs that's very similar, and you basically pay €2 for parking. It was really cool. We didn't walk very far. We spent most of the time checking out the tide pools, walking around by the water. There was a spot where the tide pool was so big, it was kind of like a swimming area. So people kept showing up, and it was like they were doing a cold plunge. They would like go jump in, swim around, and then get out and leave.
Yeah. What is this called if someone wanted to map themselves there on their
Okay, so
drive between?
the town is called Kilkee, Kilkee. It's the Kilkee Cliffs. And then the restaurant right by where you park is called Diamond Rocks Cafe.
Perfect. So then if someone didn't want to do Cliffs of Moher, they could stop here and check out these tide pools and this little walk.
Yeah, we do visit Cliffs of Moher later, but it's a big tourist attraction, and it's expensive. So this is a nice alternative. We did both, but and this restaurant was so cute too. We all had a really great meal there, and we got to sit and look at the ocean while we were eating.
Do you remember anything that you or anybody ate?
So I ate a lot of soup when I was there. My dad had like a salmon toast, so like salmon, cream cheese, greens, like a smoked salmon thing was really good. And then I think my husband had seafood chowder, which
Yum.
he said was amazing. Everywhere we went, the brown bread was amazing. We love bread, but like brown bread is so good. That's kind of why I ordered soup all the time, was just so I could get bread with.
Nice.
And then we made it to the Cliffs of Moher. You pay to park, so there's not really an admission to go to walk around the cliffs, but you have to pay 25 euro or 30 euro to park. So that's kind of your admission. It is really cool, but parts of the trails are closed because of erosion and people having a hard time not getting too close to the edge.
Yes, I've heard about that.
So we weren't going to go on those cliff trails either way. The place we went to earlier in the day, the trail is several yards from the edge, so I didn't feel uncomfortable walking on that trail. But the ones at Cliffs of Moher that were closed, they're really close to the edge. But you can still get a great view walking around the part that's been developed and that has a wall. And I felt better about walking there with the kids because the wall is like to my chin, so I wasn't nervous about them. And there's kind of a tower, like a bell tower you can climb up, and the top of that you see over the wall and you can see better. There's some like really cute shops that they build into the hill. They kind of look like little hobbit houses.
Cute.
So it's definitely, if that's important to you, definitely go. But if you just kind of want to see the same vibe of like cliffs along the Atlantic, I think, going to Kilkee is just as good.
That's a great tip. Or at least hit up Kilkee. And then when you can make your decision based on how your drive's going once you get to Cliffs of Moher. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. After that, we went straight to Galway. And so when we got to Galway, I have been there for work before. I had stayed at the Galmount Hotel. They offer family rooms, so that was one of the reasons we picked it. I could get one room for my family of four. I knew it was close to things. The hotel's fine. It's like, I think it used to be a Radisson actually, and Galmount is a chain, I think, in Ireland. So the hotel is fine. It's clean. It has a good, decent breakfast. It's really convenient to get stuff. They have underground parking. So it has a lot of great things, but it's, nothing super charming about it.
Yeah, I looked it up. It looked kind of like just more like a traditional hotel, like not, oh my gosh, this is like super Irish, but just like a normal hotel that you can stay in.
Right.
What's in Galway? Like, what are you going there to do and see?
When I went there before, I just remember the Old Town Latin Quarter area just being a really cute space to walk around. There's also beaches nearby, and it's also known for live music. It was just kind of a good also place to sort of stop before heading back to Dublin based on everywhere else we were going.
Okay.
In hindsight, we probably could have just stayed there one night. The main reason we stayed two is because I knew we'd be getting there late after that previous day drive, making drives all the way up and going to Cliffs of Moher. I knew we would be getting there kind of late. So that's why we booked 2 nights. But I think if you get there earlier in the day, you could probably just stay one night. So when we got to our hotel, it was late. So we basically checked in and then we just went to dinner. And we went to a place really close to the hotel called the Murty Rabbit, Murty. And one of the reasons we picked it is my neighbor said that they have, they call it trad music, basically traditional Irish music nightly. Most of the places do there in Galway, but not all of them. we went there and there was just one person performing, but there was music. And it was funny because he was playing kind of Irish music and then he started singing this song. And I was like, this sounds familiar. And then we realized he was singing some American music
You're like,
too.
is this Coldplay?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
He's probably just
So,
mixing it up for the tourists, giving you
exactly.
something and then a couple of traditional songs.
Right, right. And then afterwards, we took the kids. So there's a square there, kind of a green space, and there's like a very small playground. But we went there after dinner, and it was so cute because the kids, like, there was some like local kids playing, and they started playing tag with them. So it
Aw.
kind of made the playground more fun because it was kind of small. So yeah, it was really cute. They were having a blast playing with these kids that were there, probably around their same age.
Yeah, they're new Irish friends.
Exactly.
So fun.
The next day, we're gonna just explore, kind of stay local. My husband was sort of like, can we just not drive far away today?
Yeah, I need a break.
So there's an area where there's a lot of small beaches. So we thought, oh, well, let's just go drive around and find a beach. And the kids, we had swimsuits this time, so the kids can play in the ocean. And then we realized a lot of these beaches at high tide aren't beaches.
Yeah, the water's all the way up to the like rocks and
Yeah.
cliffs. Yeah.
So we were struggling finding a beach, and we did finally find one that had more sand. So even at high tide, it was there. And the kids go down there. It's cold that day too. So I'm wearing pants and a jacket.
Like how cold to
I
you?
mean,
About.
cold for ocean. It's like 63 degrees
Yeah.
outside, and
Yeah.
the ocean is like 58
Yeah.
degrees.
Yeah, that's cold.
So they're running around having a great time. And then my one daughter's like, oh, Mom, what's this thing on the sand? And it's like a form of jellyfish and it's dead. And then we start noticing them all over the beach. So we decided we probably shouldn't be running around.
Yeah, you didn't want to deal with jellyfish stings at that point.
Because you
Yeah.
can still get stung even if they're dead. So that didn't last very long. So that was kind of a bummer. But then we just went into the Latin Quarter part of town and walked around. It's really cute. We went shopping. I got some jewelry. We got some souvenirs. There's so many restaurants there. So we found a restaurant. We had oysters because that's kind of a thing there. There's like a lot of oyster farms around the area in Galway Bay. So if you're there and you like raw oysters, you should definitely get them there.
Awesome.
When I was there before, there's a restaurant just outside of town called Moran's Oyster House, Morans. And it was amazing. That just wasn't going to be something we were going to do with the kids.
Yeah,
because
I love a good oyster though, and it's like it's so much, or it's worth it to go in places where they're like so fresh. But then you get super spoiled, and you're like, I don't really want to eat them anywhere else. But if you're somewhere where it's all right there and fresh, and they're getting them that day, there's nothing like it.
Yeah, and that's this place, this Moran's Oyster House. They literally have it's right in front of where they harvest the oysters that they
Cool,
sell.
awesome.
And then we went back to the hotel for a break, and there was an indoor pool at our hotel. My husband took the girls swimming while my mom and I relaxed. And you have to wear swim caps in pools in Ireland.
Oh, funny.
So most hotels, if they have a pool though, you can either borrow or buy them. But even my husband it wasn't just people with long hair. My husband had to wear one too.
How funny.
Yeah. And they're not like swim caps like competitive swimmer type swim cap. So they're not really they're just meant, I think, just to keep your hair from shedding in the
Is it
pool.
more of like a shower cap situation, like a
Yeah,
hotel
kind
shower
of.
cap? Yeah.
Yeah, so like their hair was still wet underneath, but it's just tight enough to keep your hair from
And
coming
you're
up.
like, it doesn't look cute in pictures.
Well, you can't have a phone in there, so he
Oh,
couldn't take
wow.
a picture. He couldn't take a picture of them in the caps.
Okay, got it.
But that was nice for them to get to swim. There are like a lot of the hotels, especially the nicer ones, have indoor pools. And then we went back into Latin Quarter, the old part of town, to figure out dinner. And we saw some more people performing outside. We saw a man doing he was on a unicycle doing fire juggling performance.
Wow.
So we watched his show, and then next thing we know, it's getting kind of late. So we were having trouble finding a place to eat because it's now getting really busy and there's not a lot of space in the restaurants. So my dad said, let's just go back to the hotel and eat there. And so, but we decided to get the kids ice cream because they wanted to stay out. So we got them ice cream cones to eat on the way back. And we're going back through the square, and a seagull grabs my oldest daughter's ice cream cone out of her hand.
Oh my gosh.
And then it drops it. So now the seagull like flew right in front of her, took it, and now the rest of the seagulls are descending on us because now there's food on the ground.
Oh my
So we're just
gosh.
getting attacked by this swarm of seagulls. She's crying. My other one's crying now because they're all over. And my husband, we're trying to swat them away. So we finally escape. And so when we went back to the hotel to eat dinner, we ordered her an ice cream sundae.
Yeah. Oh my gosh, that's crazy.
But they are, you kind of forget, like, oh yeah, seagulls are kind of aggressive. Like even in the States when you're at the beach, they will.
Yeah, they will.
I just wasn't expecting them to try to get an ice cream cone, but
Yeah, so be on the lookout.
yes, like maybe don't walk through the square because, even though it's not right on the water, I think the seagulls hang out there because, it's a green space and there might be food crumbs. So don't
Oh my
don't
gosh,
walk
your
through
poor
there with open
girls.
food. Now we're headed to our last destination of the trip.
Headed to Dublin to close it out in the main
Headed to
city.
Dublin. And I didn't mention this before. My sister ended up staying in a different place. They changed their trip last minute and they stayed at the lodge at Ashford Castle. And they said it was magical. And it's a bit north of Galway. So Ashford Castle itself, if you're staying there, I think is pretty pricey, but you can stay at the lodge house that's right next to it. And it was very affordable for them. I think they use points for it, actually.
Okay, cool. So another option to look into.
Yes. So it's about 40 minutes north of Galway. So we're going to hit the road and we're going to meet up with them. The plan is to meet them at Clonmacnoise, which is a monastery site. It's Clonmacnoise.
It's like a lot of letters. We'll
It's a lot of letters.
We'll put it in the show notes because I can't
Yeah.
even I couldn't remember them.
It's basically Galway to Dublin is kind of a straight shot west to east. And this is just it's on the way. There's just a small detour off the main road, off the main highway to get to it. So it's kind of if you're driving between Dublin and Galway, it's a good place to go because it's, probably 10 minutes off the main highway. So we're going to meet my sister there, but they got a later start. So we stopped in this town called Ballinsloe and got scones and tea just to kind of kill time and walk around. And it's just funny when you just start driving and you find these random towns that isn't in anybody's guide, but it was really like the restaurant was so cute. It was really busy
Yeah.
for 10 a.m. on what day was this? Wednesday or Thursday. So,
Well, and almost more memorable because you're just like relaxing, taking it all in, having some scones, watching how these people live. And it's not just like, oh, go to the next thing, go to the next thing. I feel like those moments on trips are like so fun, the unexpected ones.
Agreed. And the kids were having hot cocoa while we were having our tea. So that was really fun. And we had already eaten breakfast at our hotel. So now we are on second breakfast.
Yes. Hey, it's vacation.
That's fine. Yeah. And so then we went to Clonmacnoise and it's on the River Shannon, built in the 6th century. There's a lot of history, kind of over time where they got invaded and things got destroyed and then they rebuilt. So I think when I was talking about the Rock of Cashel at the beginning, this is kind of a similar vibe. So if you're with your kids and you kind of want to do something like that, I don't think you need to go to both places. So kind of maybe look to see which one is going to fit into your schedule more. This one was fun because I think they have a kids scavenger hunt there. The people that run the place had a dog hanging out, so my kids loved that.
Aww.
So this one I think the kids liked a little bit better, but I think either would be fine, but you probably don't need to do both.
And was it the similar tower home castle looking
Yeah, well,
thing?
and there's
Yeah.
like a chapel, like it's a
Okay.
lot of like over time, there's a cemetery, there's a chapel. Yeah, so it's a
Different
bunch of
areas,
different.
different structures.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. The tower home is kind of adjacent to this, and it's sort of, you can't go in that, but you can walk through all of the other structures. And then some of these giant, the high crosses that are intricate, designed 10 feet high stone crosses, they actually moved those inside to preserve them. So that's kind of cool too.
Yeah, cool.
So that's like a perfect halfway point between Galway and Dublin. And then when you get to Dublin City, we wanted to return our rental cars because you pretty much have to pay for parking any place you stay there. And we knew we weren't going to need um, rental cars. So the nice part is the company we rented our car from has a place to return in the city, so you don't have to go to the airport because the airport's kind of on the outskirts of the city. So you can return in the city. So my husband dropped us off at the hotel and all the luggage, and then he drove about 10 minutes to return the car.
Perfect.
So we got checked in and we stayed at the Marlin Hotel, Dublin. I picked this hotel because of the location and because they had a family suite. So we had a suite with a king bed and it actually had a door. It was a bedroom, and then a pull-out sofa with a table, mini fridge. So it was the biggest room we'd had so far out of all the hotels we stayed in.
Awesome.
So we picked that place for that reason. It's kind of got like a modern vibe, but it's really affordable and it's really close to a lot of stuff. That night, we kind of just walked around by our hotel. The hotel's by St. Stephen's Green, which is like a green. I like to think of it as like a miniature Central Park.
Yeah.
Um, in the center of the city. So we
Cool.
walked around there. They have a really great playground there. Like it's really good. And then we went to dinner at La Caverna, the Cavern, I think. And it's an Italian restaurant, and a lot of the restaurants, in the heart of like Dublin, they're very unassuming. You have to kind of look for the signs. And we actually ate at a private room in like the wine cellar, which
Amazing. Just
I
to
didn't
like, because
know.
it could fit you guys.
Yeah, exactly.
Perfect.
It was such a good dinner. It was everything everyone ate. Like the pasta was fresh, the seafood. Some people had seafood pot. Everything was just delicious.
And did you have a reservation there? Or you just showed up and it
We
worked out?
did. We
Okay.
did. Yeah.
Okay.
And then the next day, my mom wanted to go see the Book of Kells. I'm not taking my kids to a library. I already told her before we went on the trip that wasn't going to happen.
Yeah.
Her and my dad went, and everybody else kind of did their own thing. We went shopping on Grafton Street, which is kind of a no cars on the street. So it's a bunch of shops and restaurants. So it's nice there because then there's more space to walk because there's no cars on the road there. Another place we went shopping was called George Street Arcade, and it's kind of this like Victorian pass-through area with like a glass ceiling, and it's a bunch of like little independent shop owners kind of in an open air space selling things. So that's kind of a more fun if you're looking for like quirky souvenirs.
Yeah.
And all of this is like less than 10 minutes walk from our hotel.
Awesome.
And then we decided to go to the Dublin Museum. And because it was like, let's take the kids to one thing. And based on all my research, that one seemed really kid friendly. And it was. So it's called the Dublin Viking Museum. So the Vikings actually, there was settlements in Dublin area, but they actually created Dublin, the city. So when you think of like the history of Dublin, that's kind of the starting point. So the museum goes through sort of the whole history of the city, and there's all these like interactive things to play with and replicas of stuff. So it was a big hit for the kids.
Awesome.
And I learned a lot too. It was really cool. And then you can buy the tickets to the museum that also get you access to Christ Church Cathedral, which is like attached to the museum.
perfect.
So we did that and we went to the cathedral. I would say for my kids, I wouldn't have just done the cathedral. They think it's cool, but we weren't in there very long. So because we kind of did it together, it made it worth it. They like going to the catacombs. That was their favorite part.
Yeah.
So I think that's a really great. I know some people say the Little Museum of Dublin is good, but I think we made the right choice with Dublin. I think it's a really good, if you're choosing some kind of museum with kids, I think that's the best choice.
Awesome.
And then this last night, I don't know why we didn't do this more often during the trip, but my husband chose to stay in the room with the kids and they got room service. And I went out to dinner with my family for our last night. We should have done that more, like take turns, somebody getting to go out at night
Yeah.
to a pub because you can have kids in pubs, but I think most of them by 9 p.m. you can't, no kids. We should have done that more. But so I got to go out with my family for one last dinner and a pint. And so that was kind of nice because we all got to talk about our trip and what we liked and what we'd do different or if we came back where we'd go.
Yeah, that's so fun.
Yeah, so that was really great. And they had fun having their room service.
Yeah, kids love some downtime and some room service.
Yeah, for sure. The next morning, we're flying home. So we had to leave pretty early to get to the airport. And in Dublin, you actually go through US Customs in the airport. So that way, when you land in the US, it's like you're on a domestic flight.
That's awesome.
So you got to build in the time departing, but then when you're home, you're home. Or if you're connecting in the US, you don't have to do any of that. And we got there pretty early because of that, and we just breezed through it. We had global entry, but my kids didn't, but we had applied for them. So we actually did that like global entry interview on arrival.
Mm-hmm.
And they have it there in the Dublin airport. So the kids got their interviews. So now they're set for our next trip. So we had
Perfect.
time to check our bags, go through Irish security, go through US Customs, get through everything to our gate, get food, shop, and we're still waiting to take off. So we had a lot of time to do stuff. But I think if it's busier, you might need the 3 hours, but we definitely didn't need to be there 3 hours early.
Awesome.
One thing I would say about Europe, maybe not all of Europe, but in Ireland, they don't allow ride shares, but they have some of their own apps, but you can use the Uber app to basically hail a taxi. So you open up Uber like you're scheduling a ride, and it actually basically you're just ordering a taxi. So you order your Uber, but then it's a taxi comes to pick you up. So that's how we got to the airport was we ordered a taxi through the
Perfect,
Uber
though.
app.
Still works, still a car.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, it's basically the same thing. I think it's just more like their government, it has to be like a licensed business
Yes.
to be operating like that.
This is like such a memorable trip. And like now your kids have like seen where their heritage is from, which is so cool. It's like you can read about it, you can hear about it, but to see it is an entirely different experience. So that's so awesome. Like what a memorable summer trip.
Yeah, I agree.
And for your parents to be able to be there for this trip as well and see
Right.
your kids in Ireland is so awesome.
Yeah, see us all together. Yeah, that was really special.
Okay, Tracy, this has been so awesome. You have had so many family-friendly tips. So I'm going to end this the way I end every episode. If someone out there is considering this trip, what is it about Ireland that would make you say, just book it?
I would say if you have any kind of Irish heritage, even if it's your grandmother's cousin's first aunt or uncle, getting to go there and see the history of where your ancestors are from is totally worth it. Even if you don't have heritage from Ireland, it is a unique, magical, I think everybody says magical. It is a unique, magical place. The people are so friendly. They love children, which is awesome when you're traveling with kids. And you will see hundreds of shades of green and some really beautiful sights and nature and history. I think that if you are wanting to travel to Europe with your children and you're nervous, book it, go to Ireland. This is a great starter place to visit.
I love it. That's all so great. And you've been multiple times, and you're a travel agent, and you've planned a trip there with kids. So remind people where they can find you online if they would be like, can you just plan my trip for me? And then I'll be good to go.
So my travel agency is called Revival Travel Collective. Our Instagram handle is Revival Travel Co. Same website is the same, revivaltravelco.com. And I actually have booked Ireland trips for clients since this trip I took. And so you can see some of the things that we've done in the past, and I will be posting some more of the trips that my family has taken soon as well. I also book a lot of couples trips and girls trips. So when you want to do a family trip or not, I have all of the info.
Perfect. And we'll put all those links and everything in the show notes. So if you need to easily click over, you can find Tracy. Well, this was amazing. And now I want to go to Ireland. So thank you so much for being here today.
Thank you for having me.
That wraps up another episode of Trip Tales. If you have a trip you'd like to share about on the podcast, email me at triptalespodcast@gmail.com and I'll add you to the schedule. Also, be sure to follow the show so that you don't miss any upcoming vacation destinations. And if you have an extra minute in your day, please leave a review for the podcast. It helps more than you could imagine. Thank you so much, and I'll see you on the next episode of Trip Tales.
Fox News is now streaming live on Fox One. The voices you trust, the stories you won't find anywhere else.
This is the story breaking right now.
Fox One, we live for live.
Try it free for 7 days. Offers are subject to change. Go to Fox One for complete terms and conditions.